Hey everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to Cinefessions, where we talk all things media. And what better way to celebrate me not having COVID anymore than with another thrift store haul. It has been quite a long time since my last thrift store haul, but I actually have this pile here, which is all VHS tapes that I found at a couple local thrift stores, and then another pile over there which has some DVDs and books, I think, in it as well. So excited to share with you guys what I've been finding. This pile, it's kind of ridiculous. I don't know why I grabbed all these, but alas, here we are. So let's get into it. I have no idea which number this is, but let's dive right into whatever number thrift store haul video this is. So I'll start with one that's not actually a movie, but I thought this was really cool to have in the collection. This is a video cassette cleaner. And so it's supposed to clean the VCR head. So I thought it was kind of cool just to pick it up again. These were all 50 cents each from my local Salvation Army. So yeah, pretty good price on this. Might actually come in hand at some point because of course, my VCR is secondhand also. So who knows how long that thing is going to last. But yeah, I had to grab this one. So the first one today is a video cassette cleaner. Looking at these movies, this is such a random assortment of things here. But first up is a movie that I believe Ken over at Mid-Level Media did a short on recently because he happened to find this one at the thrift store also. But I grabbed Jack with Robin Williams. So this is a movie where Robin Williams' character, he's a kid, but he's growing up much faster than those around him in terms of like his physical appearance. And so it's just how he handles that. And I remember this movie being one of the very first to make me just weep by the end of it. I remember watching it on VHS, which is why I wanted to get it on VHS, with my mom and my sister, and we were all just crying by the end of it. Such a great movie. Robin Williams is fantastic in this. So super nostalgic. That's why I ended up grabbing it on VHS. So the first movie today is Robin Williams in Jack. Sticking with Robin Williams, I also picked up this one. I actually saw this in theaters, and I remember really liking it. Another one that made me cry when I watched it. But we have Robin Williams in Patch Adams, and this is the special edition release of this, which I guess there is The Medicinal Value of Laughter, a 12-minute behind-the-scenes look at the making of the movie is included on this VHS tape, which is pretty darn cool. But yeah, this was another one. I don't know that it's a great film. I haven't seen it since I saw it in theaters, but I liked it. It's about a doctor who, laughter is the best medicine type of deal. And he's a comedian and a doctor. And so great story. From what I remember, I think it's it is based on a true story. So yeah, great movie from what I recall. Been a long time though. So Patch Adams is now in my VHS collection. Here's one I actually haven't seen before, but it felt very fitting to have on VHS. We have Porky's. You can see this is the 20th Century Fox Selections edition of it. But yeah, obviously everyone knows it's a teen sex comedy, but I've not seen this one. And I don't even know if I have it in my collection in any other format. But hey, one of my goals this year is to watch at least 2 movies on VHS. So maybe this will be one of them. We shall see. Actually, I know one of them in here is going to be one of those. But anyway, yeah, Porky's is now on VHS in the collection. Hopefully I'll like this one as much as most people do. This one isn't in the best shape, but I just heard about this recently through some video I was watching that talked about hard to find movies, and so to hold on to your DVDs basically because you can't find them easily. And I believe one of them in there was this movie here called Nuts. And it's the first time I'd ever heard about this, but it's Barbra Streisand and Richard Dreyfuss, which is a crazy cast. But I guess Richard Dreyfuss plays the lawyer, and Barbra Streisand character is like crazy or something. I don't really know exactly what it's about, but that I'd heard about it then, just like, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks before I ended up finding this one at the store. So I picked it up. I thought maybe this would be worth something. It is not. I did pick up some in order to sell them on eBay, but none of the ones in this video here. This one is not worth anything, so I decided just to hold on to it. Maybe I'll get around to it and enjoy it because it's kind of just a odd movie that, again, I'd never heard of. So really good cast on it. Figured I'd give it a shot. So we have Nuts. Let me know if you guys know of this one. I think the only other release of this is a snapper case DVD, if I'm not mistaken. And that one is a little bit harder to find from what I recall. So pretty cool to find this one on VHS. I wish this one was in better shape, but it's still pretty cool to have on VHS. We have Batman and Robin. And I love the cover on this one with Schwarzenegger, Clooney's on there, Uma Thurman, Alicia Silverstone. I mean, that's just awesome. Now, this is one, I know I've seen this movie, but it has been so long that I don't remember it at all. I counted it as a blind buy just because it's been so long since I've seen it. But I thought it was a pretty cool one to have on the VHS format, so that's why I ended up picking it up. Of course, I do own this on 4K, but this is just kind of a cool little novelty, which is frankly what most of these are. But yeah, so Batman and Robin. This is another one that I just had to pick up because of the novelty of it. Again, not in the best shape, as you can see that's coming up there, but this is a Chuck Norris triple feature. So there is Braddock, which is Missing in Action 2, Hero and the Terror, and then the Delta Force, which I think I have 2 of the 3 of these already on DVD. But again, just pretty cool to have all 3 of these on one VHS. So no idea what the quality is going to be like on this, fitting 3 films on one VHS tape, but hopefully it'll be watchable. And again, it's more just to kind of have it in the collection because it's really cool. So yeah, a Chuck Norris triple feature with Hero and the Terror, the Delta Force, and Braddock Missing in Action 2. So here's a random one that I actually just watched again on DVD yesterday, but had to grab the VHS tape of Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. This, of course, is the way I used to watch this one all the time when I was a kid. I loved this movie. It was one of those select VHS tapes that my uncle had at his house up north, and so I would watch it all the time while I was up there. And surprisingly, this thing holds up quite well. Jim Carrey is just a force of nature. He is hilarious. And that's the reason this one works. It's such a stupid premise, stupid story. The whole thing is very non-PC nowadays, but like, it's funny. It's just a dumb movie. So yeah, I love that I just watched this again. I'm hoping to watch the sequel, maybe even tonight. But I think I've only seen that once, and I remember nothing about it. So yeah, but Ace Ventura: Pet Detective is a classic. So actually, both of these next 2 have Jim Carrey in it, but this one I had to grab because it's Dumb and Dumber. Like, how do you not have Dumb and Dumber in the collection? I have this one on, I assume, Blu-ray, I imagine, but had to grab this one anyway. It's pretty cool. Shout out to John over at PlatX2, one of his all-time favorite films, and I thought, you know what? I feel like John would want me to have this on VHS, so I had to pick it up. But yeah, just a great movie, obviously. So, Dumb and Dumber. Probably my favorite of the Jim Carrey finds because I don't have this on DVD or anything. I don't think it's on Blu-ray, but we have The Cable Guy. And this movie used to freak me out when I was a kid watching this. I just think Jim Carrey's character is so genuinely creepy in this. This is directed by Ben Stiller. I genuinely had no idea that was the case. And it's produced by Judd Apatow. That's hilarious. Okay, I literally just finding that out as I'm sitting here. I did not know that, but great movie. Genuinely weird and just creepy, but so happy to have this in the collection now. This is The Cable Guy, apparently directed by Ben Stiller. So that's pretty cool. This one is super random, but it felt fitting given what it is. So this is from Hallmark Entertainment. We have Aftershock, Earthquake in New York. I love disaster films. Tom Skerritt is in this. Charles S. Dutton plays the mayor, directed by Michael Solomon. So yeah, not a clue, but it's probably going to be awful. And it's one that, frankly, I thought I might have already owned in one of those like multi-packs on DVD, but apparently I don't. So yeah, I thought this was just a kind of cool one for the VHS collection. We have Aftershock, Earthquake in New York. The rest of these are pretty darn awesome, starting with the lone horror film I was able to find. It is impossible to find horror films on VHS at the thrift store. It just, at least for me, it never happens, because those are the ones that people scoop up immediately. And then things like the other movies here, nobody cares about those. But I found The Blair Witch Project on VHS. This is so cool. One of my favorite movies from my childhood. This, of course, is the first way I saw this in theaters, but then on home media, this was the first way I would have watched this at home. So I thought this was just an awesome find. It does have the big Blockbuster sticker on the back here. Kind of disappointing. I might be able to get that off if I try, but I haven't done so yet. But yeah, I love this movie, and I thought this was just super cool to have on VHS in particular. So not a ton of horror movies on VHS in my collection, so I'm happy to have The Blair Witch Project. Moving over to the fantasy realm, I found this one at a different thrift store where I got all these other ones, and I had to grab it. It's actually a 2 VHS set, which is cool, but it's Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. So I've already mentioned that the Lord of the Rings movies are one of my most embarrassing blind spots, if you watch that video, but this I had to grab because this is just cool. I don't think I've ever seen Lord of the Rings on VHS before, so for 50 cents, it's going in the collection. Just a really cool ad. So this one is in there now. Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, the multi-VHS release of it. This is another one that I've not seen, but I own it on Blu-ray, and I definitely need to watch it that way first, but still just cool to have. Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. This is one that I found in the same store as Lord of the Rings and the next two I'm going to show. So it was a cool day for like sci-fi and fantasy movies that day. But yeah, I've heard this is one of the best of that franchise. Definitely looking forward to checking it out. But look at that thing. It's beautiful. Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. All right, so last but not least today, I'll show these final two together because they're both Star Wars. And the first one we have here is the Special Edition trilogy. So, of course, you have the original, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. So episodes 4, 5, and 6. But this is the first release. As far as I know, that is the special editions of these, which I know most people don't like, but I just thought this looked gorgeous. So this is definitely just a collection piece. These are really cool. Let me take a look and see how the front of these look, because I just don't recall. Oh yes, that's right. The drawn or the painted cover art on these look really great. So let me show off these here. I think these look really darn cool. So the last one, that's the best one without a doubt in terms of like the artwork on these. But yeah, so that's really cool. So I grabbed the gold special edition releases of Star Wars. I'm not going to get them in there, am I? Oh, there they go. All right, so let me put these away, because on top of that, I also picked up the last release, I think, of the standard edition, or the theatrical releases. And it says on here, we can present it with the best sound and picture quality yet available thanks to THX digital mastering. And I believe it talks somewhere on here about how this is I am pleased that for the final video release of Star Wars in its original version. So this is when they, right before they switched over to that special edition, which I would assume they're going to release these again on 4K at some point, because they're just missing out on money by not doing that. But I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, there's Return of the Jedi. I love that. So yeah, so I had to grab both of them again. I own Star Wars on I think every format now except Blu-ray, because I ended up selling that edition off. So I definitely want to grab that again at some point just to have it. But I have VHS, I have DVD, and I have 4K. So pretty darn cool. And now I have both releases on VHS, which is awesome. And actually, you will see in an upcoming haul, I will have at least 2 of the 3 of the prequel trilogy on VHS also. Again, just for collection pieces. I think they're pretty cool. But anyway, that is all of the VHS tapes that I've found recently at my local thrift stores. All right, I'm not picking them all up again. They are so heavy compared to DVDs, Blu-rays, or 4K releases. But that was all of the VHS tapes I found at my local thrift stores, and it has been a lot of fun going through them. I didn't intend to buy a bunch of VHS tapes, but here we are now, what was this, like 16 or 17 releases later. Star Wars, I would love to have, you know, whenever I can find them and I don't have it in my collection, I try to add them. Something like, you know, Star Trek, I would love to have all of those on VHS. That's just cool. So anything that I find is unique or nostalgic on VHS, I'm going to add to my collection if it's super cheap. But anyway, let me know down in the comments below, do you collect any VHS tapes at all? And if so, what do you look for when you're looking for your VHS? Is it nostalgia reasons, or is it simply the way you like to watch your movies the best? Let me know what you think about that, or anything else down in the comments below. I appreciate any and all support down there. But that's going to do it for today, guys. So if you enjoyed this one, go and hit that like button down below. That engagement really does help me out. And like I always say, I don't just talk movies, I talk all things media. Books, movies, video games, graphic novels. If it's media related, I'm interested in it. And if you are too, you might consider subscribing. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for today. I just want to say thank you all so much for watching. And I want to encourage you to consume some media today. I'll catch you next time.